to get through today?
Greetings.
Oh, never mind.
What?
Greetings.
What were you
Hello,
saying?
hello, hello.
What were you saying?
Just getting prepped for the day. Don't worry.
He's prepping.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the brand new episode of Sagas and Solace Convergence, Episode 4. Whom would like to tell me the recap?
I will do it.
Okay.
All right. Well, last time on Sagas and Solace, we started having more private meetings with each of the representatives of the various factions that gathered for the meeting. And first we spoke to Sir Embedane, the representative of the dwarves from Demon's Deep, about future plans for Arcadum, and about working the ancient dwarven forges, perhaps doing repairs on them, using his people's related skill in the matter. And I feel that after some back and forth, the conversation went as well as it could, considering that the dwarves seem to see us as potentially very temporary retainers of the city. Moving on from there, we also spoke to the Brass Baron once again and clarified his intentions from this point. Once he takes Mornhal, we should be able to count on his full attention towards our mutual goal. Beyond that, after some... As I was very excited to get on with it, after some reprimand from my associates in the Carnelian Circle, I was advised patience rather than jumping to action, as seems to be the pattern. We took the time then to speak to other representatives, and we intend to go around the table one at a time to make sure we have all the information we can before making moves. That being the case, we immediately took time also to speak to the representatives of the Western Rebellion. And after they expressed a great deal of concern over how the cake would be split after Corvinus was saved and allowed to move forward, they struggled, thinking that they would be left out or that they would not be given the appropriate amount of attention. It was then we decided to make a decision and jump forward. A little hasty, but, not my decision. We told them about the Fey Gates and how we have them active, and gave this information to only them. As that happened, we continue today with more meetings. Hopefully we'll get around the circle and be able to make moves soon rather than later. And that's it.
All right, well done. Inspiration for you.
Thank you.
All right. So, I have some slight bookkeeping on my side to do, because I need to know exactly what is public knowledge. For the purposes of chat room, we spoke a little bit before session started, because I need to get some things clear to know what is made public knowledge, meaning what is readily available in the Stone Sanctuary's libraries and archives for the world leaders and their subordinates, to access. So, let's go ahead and go over that now at this time. But first, I need different tunes. Here we go. All right. So, public knowledge. Map locations of the laboratories of Tyr.
And the major ley lines, correct, Luke? Or Marlowe?
Map locations of
those are the only two things I know about.
Yes. Okay. Clarifying questions.
Mm-hmm.
First clarifying question. Knowledge of Tyr. Of his existence as a person.
That was openly mentioned in various meetings.
I say, yeah.
Yes, but is it readily available for study?
The information on him. We were
Yes.
trying to state that it's best to not look too deep into him, but obviously with him going to the labs, what's the
I think
thought
the question
process?
is where's the notes that would give the NPCs the information we have.
Correct.
I think the Iris project is one of the bigger ones, and I think that's a big no-no on that.
No, but where are they?
That's what I'm asking.
Are we giving them the information or
Are
not?
are they in the
We have
public
it.
archive?
I don't think our tier notes would be no. Anyone else have anything to say on that?
I would have thought yes.
You know, I say fuck it. Like, I don't think Marlowe would care at this point. Like, if you guys want to
We
leave
are
them in the
informing
library,
them.
like, read them. Share them.
I think that exposes some. I think that exposes color research stuff. I think, which I think is one of the things we're trying to hide from the Brass Baron, isn't it?
What I'll do is, if it's in Scheherazade, stuck away on one of the tables, like, I'm very intentional about which table and what stuff's in there and stuff. If it's in there, I'll be like, no, it's in there. Or if you're like, hey, let's make a copy, we'll pull it out of there or something. But if not, then I'm pretty much open to wherever it's put. I would say Laza and Marlowe would defer authority to Laza and Pandora. Public knowledge stuff in Moab. If you guys had things and put them someplace, I think now's the time to say.
The reason I'm asking is I need to know what information that the world leaders have access to and that their people have access to that they can research without supervision.
Yeah. I would say the Iris project is a no.
Well, you're getting ahead of me.
Yeah.
Tier information in general, what you know. Not about
in
specific problems. Yeah, general information.
Okay. Sure. I approve then.
Okay.
Yep.
General information. Unless somebody else has something to say. Okay.
Sounds good.
So let's talk about except the Iris project.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other bits of information about Tyr you would like to exempt from public knowledge?
No thoughts? Alright, doesn't look like it.
No.
Okay. Map of major ley lines. Unfortunately, Sewigg isn't here because this would be more his area. So I will need the party to kind of decide on his behalf, because I can't choose for him.
I mean,
Do you want the? You already have agreed to the locations of the major ley lines. Do you also want to reveal the telemetry of the ley lines, meaning how they are measured, controlled, all that information that you discovered?
oh, that stuff.
Probably.
Basically, the mechanics of the major ley lines.
Probably yes.
That
right?
does need to be given to the druids, in my opinion.
Yeah, but this isn't about giving to the druids.
This is the library in general to everyone.
I would probably say yes, because that's some of the most important information for us to disseminate right now, is for people to have knowledge on how to deal with the ley lines. So I vote yes on that.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh no, druids are going to become more plurific. Plurific, Jesus.
Yes.
All right. Next
I
thing.
gave up. I surrender.
Let's see here. Let me double check something. this group knows about the Isle of Mana, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted
Yes.
to double check that. In that case, is that going to be available knowledge?
Of the Isle of Mana?
Specifically, what I mean is the specifics of the Isle of Mana.
Like how it's a stillborn grove.
The Stillborn Grove, yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the major things we want them targeting is the Grove.
Yes,
So yeah.
Okay.
I agree with this sentiment.
That one's on the front page.
All right, next up. The existence of the Library of Kasael.
Do we even
vote-
need to shield that?
I vote no.
Yeah, why would we?
Do we have any record of that that's written?
That's the question.
Well, we're talking
Right.
maps and stuff.
I
You
don't.
don't-
I don't think we have anything.
You would
That
have-
would be kept in the
you-
Stone Sanctuary.
You would have where you encountered it, but you know that it shifts. But it's basically, are you going to make the knowledge that that place exists available in public record?
My vote is no.
Either by writing it yourself or whatever.
I would not let that be a public knowledge thing.
Why not?
My issue is like, what's the issue with sharing it? Other than maybe risking the Stone Sanctuary, but even then, or Scheherazade, but even then, like, how would they even make that connection?
Well,
I just don't think that us sharing it unprompted is like
This is not
narratively sound.
This is not an unprompted state. This is, can they find this out by looking through your archives? That's what I'm asking.
No, there's nothing there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the stuff like, oh, we went to the Library of Kasael is all personal record and journal, and all that stuff is shards.
That would only be in the Saga, right? Your Saga?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all in Charizard. Same with like the individual party members we've met from other campaigns and interactions with them and stuff. All the first-hand Sagas stuff that's subjective isn't.
Scheherazade, okay.
Okay. My next question is the existence of Charizard.
Yeah, big no.
There's no.
Knowledge of Amber.
Probably no. That leads into color stuff.
That depends on if Laza, because Laza had his whole journals and writings and stuff.
Yeah.
If he put a copy in public space.
Well, he gave a copy to Charizard, but whether or not that's public knowledge is up to you guys.
Okay.
Like in and out of character, I the only things I've taken out of Scheherazade and given to the library are the like maps, topographic like data stuff. No,
Yeah, I just don't want to
no Amber.
give Amber knowledge to the Brass Baron. I think that's too risky.
Well, okay.
You're coming at this from a perspective of like, oh, we shouldn't do this, but
Oh, yeah,
we're
that's
going
right,
over
you're-
stuff that's already been done, kind of.
Yeah,
The reason I'm going over this is because I'm going to have to make rolls and develop story based off of what these characters have access to in your reliquary of knowledge that is public to them that you have offered. It's part of the offered deal of your relevance, right? So it will have impact based off what, because what you tell them is one thing. What you elucidate to them individually is another. But they also have people that work for them. They can research it themselves. I essentially need to know what they have access to so I can properly make my roles, because they're characters that exist even when you're not around. They're going to be doing stuff when you're not around. And I need to be able to know what information I have access to, because I don't want to hand wave it. And the reason I don't want to hand wave it is I don't want to have this story development come up on something you didn't intend for any of them to know, but we didn't go over it because we hand waved it. So this is me avoiding hand waving it, make sure that I know exactly what is in that library because you put it there, or you didn't specifically remove it.
I would say keep Amber away, but that's more a Marlowe thing at this point because it's you and Laza.
I'll enter to it this way. So you have the map locations of the laboratories, a tier with the general information except the Irish project because you guys put that there. Okay. Same thing with the knowledge of the major ley lines. The existence of Scheherazade is not shared. The reason that that's important is because if the existence of Scheherazade was revealed, then that means extra-dimensional spaces are revealed, which is a big deal. The next piece, and this part's pretty important, if you're not allowing any knowledge of Amber, then, well, that's where we're at now, is whether or not Amber exists, because it has a direct tie to the history of Corvinus, is important, because I need to know if they are able to uncover anything, especially for the Anvanti people. So my question is there or is there not any information about who Laza is, his people, or the Amber in the public record? Because Laza would keep that in Scheherazade, but not put it in public record unless he was told to do so. If your standing point is that unless you specifically say that it's there, it's not there, that's fine, but I need to go over a list and know what is there. So we can do this one of two ways. You either tell me what you don't want there, or you tell me what you do want in there. It's however you want to do it. I'm just going over the main story beat stuff so we do it efficiently. Amber is important.
If Laza wouldn't put it in there, he's the only one that would have done so.
Okay.
So,
well, the reason I'm saying it is like part of your the concept of your whole city is that everything is shared, right? So that's like an Ezekiel and all of that, and it's important because while Laza wouldn't have put it in there, if he is expected to do so, he would. So there's that expectation as well. But if you didn't tell him to, then he's not going to. So the next thing here is, let's see here. Existence of traveler souls, probably a no, correct?
No.
Let's say no. I gotta step away for 2 seconds. I just gotta knock on the door.
Okay. Your current allegiances. Your public-facing political allegiances.
So that would be Carter, Barrow King, right?
And Lander.
And Lander.
Yeah, you have an economic agreement with him.
I think it's best to be honest about that stuff. Be forward.
Would that shit be in the public library? Like our trade records and stuff?
Not trade records, but if it's not information you're trying to hide, it's something they could find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine with me to be open about that. That seems important to be open about.
Well, you don't have to be open. I'm getting at, are you going to conceal it?
Hide it.
Yeah.
No, not
Are
concealing
we
it.
actively hiding it? No.
Because remember, I also have spies and shit, so it's like, I gotta ask these questions.
Yeah, we know Butters.
Well, it's not just him.
We know, he's just the major one.
Okay. Next thing is... Got that. This is... Existence of the Fey Gates, I'm pretty sure is a no because you've been individually telling people about it.
Yeah, and we specifically stated that we would not share the information with until the druids returned.
Okay.
Right.
Druids. Circle of Dreams and the existence of the dream. This is really more of a question for Sewigg, which sucks that he's not here. Basically, since the Circle of Dreams can be visited in Moaz Kadan, that means the natural follow-up question of what is the Circle of Dreams kind of goes hand in hand with that. So, knowledge of the dream's existence, controlled or not.
I'd say that's not Scheherazade territory information, and that's more world information. And if Sewigg is somebody who would write something down, I'd presumably tell him to put a copy in the library, but that is...
It's less that he'd write it down, it's that he built it. They can go to it.
I mean, then, yeah.
I've talked to him a little bit. I'm pretty sure he wants to spread it more as, like, oh, I'm the leader of this thing, so it's kind of like personal interest. I believe he's pro spreading it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's also the case that Pandora knows about the Iris projects. None of us have told her to not. Did she make a bunch of books about it and publish them?
Your subordinates, as long as they remain loyal, are not going to try and do things that they don't think you know, that you'd actually want to happen.
Yeah, and we've been pretty good to her, even if we didn't get her
power.
power.
And Pandora is also crazy. So.
Yeah, I'm like, there could literally be anything in the library. It's Laza, Pandora, and a bunch of Glean homeless people.
We gave them homes. We literally built them for them.
It's like the Los Angeles Public Library. And they're spies. The irony.
Okay. Let's see, is there anything else I'm missing from my list?
Can, like, knowledge of the Fae be one of the things too? Because that seems to be pretty...
That kind of goes with the dream, because that's your direct connection to it.
No, that's true.
Also, the Barrow King knows about that.
Yeah,
it's generally speaking, knowledge of the Fae, it would be behind the dream door, so to speak. I think that's everything. I can't think of anything else. Do it one more once over. On Gaia wouldn't be something that would be accessible. Okay, that sounds good to me. Alright, cool. I can work with that. Meeting time! Alright, who do you guys want to meet with next?
I believe our choices was the merchants and Carter, and we're going to start with merchants. Any issues?
Good.
All right. Merchants it is.
None.
Oh boy. Okay, you call forth Faustine Hightower and her representatives. Once again, to show off this sick art, she's the one on the left.
Yeah.
I really like this style for the nobles.
I so badly want to meet the guy on the right just because they're so cool.
He really did a great job.
Goodness.
This lady.
Oh, man. Oh, right. I gotta swap back.
If you're going to be talking to him, I might as well do the song.
No, goodness.
I have to piss out my 2 minutes.
All right. As you call them forward, Faustine Hightower will take her seat, flanked by Captain Artemis Fletch and Grandmother Iron. He will take a seat, getting comfortable, before she speaks. Greetings, Carnelian Circle. You have summoned me.
Greetings. Thank you for joining us.
You were some of the more open individuals, and we would like to thank you for your open cooperations. One thing I would like to bring forward first is this speaking of the sickness that's grown within your lands. This is news to us. How long has this been occurring?
It has only just occurred within a few weeks' time. This recent event is still a mystery to us, but I have the best of my people upon it. Insight checks, please.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that Grandmother Iron, for a brief moment, flashes her eyes over to Faustine Hightower, as if she disagrees with the term best people. But she doesn't say anything. And Faustine will continue. They have yet to provide any usable intelligence, but we suspect that there is a greater problem afoot.
Oh, if you would explain.
Perhaps. She will lean back in her chair. There is first, upon one palm, what we suspect, and upon the other palm of what we do not expect. What we expect is that this is a biological weapon. We say that it is a weapon because of its precision. It does not act as any normal disease nor poison. It strikes at only certain places, at times, but yet leaves certain other organic features and indeed buildings and stone unaffected. There are also heavy traces of alchemy from those that have been affected by this substance, this miasma. What we suspect it isn't is an attack from any of our known sphere of influence. No of our allies of the city-states would have the appropriate technology in order to create this without the use of magic. We do not believe that the Brass Baron would risk destroying the land he hopes to conquer one day, despite his strong presence across our great river to the west. We have also heard that he attempts to cross at Hailhorn using Lyric's Gambit, a thin part of the river, but yet he has remained unmoved. If this was an intended attack by him, he would surely have already struck, especially since we are now starting to recover. Therefore, one can only conclude that whatever this phenomenon is, it must be an outside source to the current players upon the board. Hence, the interest in coming to this meeting. And already we have gleaned much. You speak of many things, Carnelian Circle. We wish to discuss them. Does that answer your question?
Nicely. It is very good to see that there are still those working together, at least to some degree. But I will ask that you all be wary. The direction given is, as we have discussed, highly intelligent. The attacks, the strangeness, there are reasons for them all. These untouching of the buildings, these directions of attacks. While they might seem strange, there will be some reason behind them all.
Indeed. And what reason do you specifically hold? Do you suspect? Surely you would not have mentioned it if you didn't already have a suspicion.
Much of these diseases or aberrations were meant to hold some purpose. What we know of them yet is limited. But all of this is to push some kind of goal. We've yet to decipher what that is, specifically with the aberrations, but we do know at least that they all come from a similar origin, but have all been changed and altered in completely different ways.
What kind of changes? Can you explain?
He will pull out the dossier from the Brass Baron on the Broken Brothers, and he'll pull out the dossier from Carter and his men.
Which one from Carter?
From the city, the Pale City.
Okay.
These are the aberration reports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not the reports on the color.
No, not the color stuff. Just the aberration reports.
Do you hand them to her?
Yes.
Captain Felch will take that.
From what I've been able to read, I'm somewhat medically trained. The major connection between them all seems to be the blood, but more specifically the spine and the fluid found within. I would say get your men directing their attentions, at least for cures or other such things to, well, probably get their hands dirty, but I would say that's rather risky, all things considered.
And you're saying that this is what is causing the uproar in the Pale City?
At least the recent one.
She will blink audibly. Very well. I have a few questions for your circle, if you would deign to grant me the time.
A nod.
I have heard much, and yet seen very little. You have placed yourselves in a position in which to help. But forgive the merchant in me. What is it that you get out of helping us? Specifically, one of your companions was very specific that he is not of this land nor cares for its politics. And yet I cannot see, other than an act of altruism, of why you deign to aid us.
In his part... are we talking, Waymaker?
No, go ahead. I just made a... I snored out my nose, but then I defer to you.
Oh, okay.
I paused my sketching for a second.
For his part, you can simply see him as a pious man in a sorts. His belief and knowledge is absolute. It's sharing. Don't think of it as altruism so much as his duty. As for our actions, this is my home. I grew up here, and I wish to see it live, at least to some degree, to tomorrow. So I act. If it's altruism, then it is only a secondary characteristics of making sure that my home survives.
not far from the mark with me. Similar. I want to live, and I want to live in a Corvinus that is not going to be gone within the decade.
As you can see, the spreading within the Pale City was also extremely fast, although their denser population clearly allowed it to spread quicker. The Broken Brothers has taken over an entire region for who knows how long. The island, from my understanding, is nearly entirely infested. Whatever this is, it spreads quickly. This is coming to its crescendo within, we're assuming, at least 10 years.
We are of agreement that the situation is dire. And obviously, we have a reason to help ourselves. But your reason to grant us this information for no price that I can see makes me very suspicious.
We are somewhat aware that our information seems too good to be true to some. You would not be the first to come to us with this concern, but we assure you that the goal is to save Corvinus. It's bigger than anything we could want individually. That's why we share the information.
Altruism, then. Or at the very least, survival.
Survival.
I can understand survival.
Been surviving my whole life. Well, from the Razor Cliffs myself.
You will smile. Are you?
Aye. Been away from home for a long time. And I have seen a lot of problems across the entirety of Corvinus.
In that we are shared, for I too am from the Razor Cliffs.
Oh.
Well, born
Our
there,
smiles.
I suppose.
Or smiles some.
Very well, if that is the case. Consider my question satisfied. She will then lean back in her chair. A few more, if you don't mind.
Nods.
If only one of your companions is uninterested in politics, I shall ask my question direct. Do you intend to support any of those that have gathered directly in the coming warfare?
Much of our...
Clarify, please.
Oh, good. Yes, please.
I shall be specific. There are many problems in our home. These problems, if left unchecked, will, as you say, destroy Corvinus in approximately 10 years or so. At first, I was skeptical, but over time I have come to believe you. But I cannot help but ask a very straightforward question. Whom do you intend to assist in this regard? What is it that you would ask of the free cities?
At the moment, our intentions is to supply from the forge to those who wish to fight against, whether it's one of the disease-ridden lands, the laboratories, or any other such tier-controlled facilities that may be found. I say controlled lightly.
It comes to our attention that perhaps the free cities would be a prime location to expect able-bodied adventurers to go on these missions. Would we be correct in assuming so?
You would. We also have a contingent of mercenary companies in which to select your aid from as well. The two behind me are representatives of just such. Grandmother Iron will nod. Captain Felch will tip his hat.
Very good.
I personally would like 300 gold, 2 bottles of finest.
Did you say 2 bottles of what?
The finest wine.
A
will-
straightforward and unexpected request, but certainly one that can be obliged.
Raise my eyebrows. Okay.
Yeah. Personal request, very not. But the functionality of the city is still minimal, as we are still waiting for the forges. But once they are fully operational, as they will assist in any arms request that those might have for assaulting such locations, as well as education for any of those who wish to perhaps ascend in their work. The tree that we have, many of the issues that you might have might be assisted by druids. They could easily be taught here, and then being allowed to communicate between us in a much easier fashion. Rather than having one of your people have to travel here great distance.
Man. Ooh, boy. Can you say the last part you said again, please?
We'd be able to train your men, druidically speaking. Once they've learned, we would be able to communicate between each other over great distances without having to have your people travel such huge distances.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that there is...
Go ahead, sir.
Are you inferring that there is another way?
To communicate?
Travel great
Yeah.
distances?
He mentioned communication across great distances.
Not the first time he didn't.
Not the first time. I missed
Did I
that.
not say that? I might have stumbled over my words, but I did not.
You're
Yeah,
doing
I
very
heard,
good. Listen enough.
Communicate long distances in lieu of walking.
Traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in lieu of traveling.
I would interject. If they don't travel a long distance and we just communicate, how are they going to deliver the wine?
Helpful. Good.
Well, we could still have a merchant trade. I have no issues with such things, but this is a more how do we say, rapidly developing event. I'd rather have open communication between the two of us. More open communication. Should any emergency expand.
Very well. We are not opposed to additional trade and communication, but I suppose my question, following up on that, is, well, how to put it? As of this moment, the predicament that we find ourselves in has left Saphira less than capable of direct land trade. So, if you would happen to know of any methodology in which one could quickly and rapidly move across the land to exchange goods, we would certainly like to hear it. Insight check, please.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm gonna roll
He
Sewigg
said
for that
moving
one.
across the land, by the way. I'll glance over.
Damn. Yeah, highest is a 14.
Did Marlowe roll?
I don't know if I'm mentally engaged with this, but I'll
What?
have a brief moment of lucidity. There we
Hey,
go.
he's talking
He's
about
thinking
Marlowe.
of his wine and 300 gold.
What's this? The lady talking about? Squints.
Okay, you get the feeling that, so being from somebody from Saphira, the city of sapphires, she has access to the foreign markets. It seems that she not only knows such travel exists, she is trying to infer, essentially asking you for that information.
Like, dude, she knows about like teleportation circles and stuff.
Well,
Is it-
not to that direct knowledge, but she knows that such magics exist because they exist on foreign markets. Like, she's well informed, but she doesn't know anything more than that, or at least she doesn't seem to. And she's trying to infer that, how can I put this? People are getting around quick, and she wants to know how.
Do you mind if I ask, Miss Hightower, are you a foreigner?
I am not.
Do you possess the capacity for teleportation? Rapid movement across spaces?
Knarh looks at him.
I have heard that such things exist. But we do not have a direct access to such things, at least not without heavy foreign tariffs. To be quite honest, I had always suspected that traveling of that magnitude and that rapidity was something that was impossible. Hold on a second, I gotta fix the Almost done. Hold on. It's out of me. Okay, there we go. Continue.
That
No.
would be the solution to getting places quickly. It's where I come from. It's not the most commonplace thing, but certainly a possible, potentially feasible method of transportation. I didn't know that wasn't something available to people on Corvana. Is this just from your knowledge, or well, I suppose. Has the church not been using teleportation?
If they have not made it readily clear to us that they have access to it. Nor would they. To have such an access is a supreme advantage in both warfare and trade.
Perhaps a question for Carter later.
As a reminder, in case people don't know, in Corvanus, that kind of magic is not only is it not readily available, most people don't even know it exists, even the very well learned, because of the suppression of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly not to the level that it could be used in everyday trade. That being said, there are, of course, other ways to move around Corvanus quickly, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We could certainly attempt to investigate this, but at the moment...
The reason I ask, as she kind of just pushes past Gruul's attempt to subject shift, is that with this impending sickness upon my land, the roads are blocked. It would be very difficult for Saphira to provide any sort of meaningful help to our shared vision, whilst this still yet remains. And until it is solved by our local forces, I'm afraid the offerings of Saphira will be very limited. Unless, of course, we knew of some way to bypass our current predicament.
Do we have a shared vision?
Do we? I was to understand.
I'm asking you, because your questions of us have been trying to get at what I assume to be a presumption of monetary motivation, as well as trade routes and things.
My questions to you are because I find your, how shall I put it, laissez-faire, apathetic altruism to be suspicious at best and disastrous at worst.
Well, being someone who surrounds themselves with foreigners, should probably know that there are people who have different fundamental frameworks than just trade and self-interest.
I find it actually to be quite the opposite. It is actually the most common thing amongst us all. He smiles.
Perhaps my self-interest is different than yours, but...
Perhaps you misunderstand my intention. I am not, how do you say, judging that you have a self-interest. I am simply trying to ascertain as to what it is, so that our continued dealings will be more clarified. And as to our shared vision, it is as you put it earlier in your grand speech. This continent is in jeopardy. It must be saved. That is our vision. The ability for Saphira to assist in that vision is limited to this capacity at this time. If the problems that we are facing were to be bypassed, we could provide far more aid into what is to come.
Actually, something just came to mind to me. The Saphira, the city, it is rather adjacent to the Advanti Isles, correct?
Taken, Gruul?
Sorry, you guys are making a totally different argument. Sorry.
But no. I didn't hear what you said.
Carry on.
I didn't hear what you said. Like, me, the DM, did not hear what you said.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, he's essentially trying to get out of this topic as quick as possible. I hate to impose quickly, but the city of Saphira is rather close and adjacent to the Advanti Isles, correct?
Indeed. They are under our sphere of protection.
Protection. From what we understood, there is a lot of hidden history and power in the past there. At one point, we were actually going to investigate the location ourselves, as speaking about the ancients. We believe that there might very well be some motive of travel locked within there. Its full nature we're not unaware of, but the issue is the Isles are many, and many of their secrets are barely known to us. We could only give you a quick rundown of their, how should you say, local specialties. Blood, poisons, things of the sort.
Are you suggesting that there is an answer to our problem within our very Isles?
If the information that we have is reliable, I believe so.
I see. Up to this point, the Advanti Isles are left to their cultural traditions. For the most part, we have left them uninterfered with for their local governments. True, they have fallen into great disrepair. Indeed, many of their people have abandoned their ancestral home and live within the districts of Saphira. Do you have this information readily on hand?
He would have to write it down, but basically he would be going over the information given to him from Laza about the islands, which was the 4 different. I think it was the divination he gave about the 4 different islands.
Are you referring to the spirits? Like the ancients? Or are you referencing something else?
So originally when we were going to go to the islands, we were given a quick run over by Laza.
Yeah.
I would essentially give her access to the information Laza had given to us.
Okay, so that would be the Hellenic Foci and Vault.
I think the vault was Knarh, right?
Oh, well.
Well, it's all shared.
There's
so.
the doors, the temples, the vaults, the foci. Yeah. Most of that was from the library.
We also know that there's 4 temples that need to be secured in order to deal with the ancients, which we would inform them that this has to do with the ancients.
Yeah, I know it's there, but I need to know what you're telling her.
I would be fully open about it unless anyone else tells me to stop.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give her basically everything we have on the Advanti Islands.
Okay.
I would like to express that we don't necessarily want a battle with the ancients. If push comes to shove, I would ask that you use this Advanti connection to perhaps get a peaceful way in, but time is our weakest resource now.
Why would you ask me to be peaceful about it? Have I given you any indication that we would not be?
He'll look to this guy in his comments earlier about the Advanti.
What comments?
Yeah, he didn't make any comments about them.
Did he?
Not in our game.
Like a broken people? Not here, as in the previous conversation.
Kraig, you should stop reading chat.
No. Did he not say that the Advanti were broken people? Not today.
How
he's talking shit about the Advanti.
He yes, that doesn't mean he's going. That doesn't mean there's going to be a hostile action taken.
My question is, why not be hostile? Agamemnon's a demon prince.
That's right.
The fuck would they be peaceful?
Well, first off, I understand.
Well, the Advanti people is what we're talking about right now, and also the knowledge of the 5th spirit is not common knowledge anyway. The point that I'm trying to make is that what Gruul just said makes no sense.
Oh, no, sorry, I was just going up the SEC guide.
And it feels meta, is what I'm getting to.
No. I guess I was running too hard on the SDC guy's comments earlier.
I mean, the comments that he made gave no indication that this lady is going to be hostile to the people that she just told you that she protects. And you have no reason otherwise to not believe that she's protecting them.
Okay. Is she on Vanti? Is that racist?
No. You're just
is it?
I like to. My headcanon is that is what Marlowe has been thinking the entire time. Is whether or not him
are
asking
all black people Africans? Are they?
I'm a Moascadon American.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I've just been looking over at Twilight Mouse dangling her little feetsies off the fucking chair.
I get your point. I'll back.
Why'd you make your chairs so dang big, Marlowe?
She's kicking her little feet and it's driving Marlowe fucking crazy, dude.
I can't wait for this continent to fall and I can watch the light leave your eyes in the moment of panic and desperation. I can juxtapose that against you dangling your little feetsies as I leave to go home.
Oh,
you get off on some weird thought processes there.
He's so dark. Anyway.
I said that.
I'll back up the
comment. Anyway, the point is, she will respond with, I see no reason why you would think I would be hostile towards them, but no, I do not intend There is peace in my lands, and I'd like to keep it that way. Regardless, she holds up her hand. You're inferring that there is an answer to our problems in the Anvanti Isles based off of this information. What is the source of your information, if I may ask?
A wizard who can teleport great distances.
Indeed.
That is his name?
Well, no, he's a wizard. That is his profession. Is it a profession to be a wizard?
Vocation. But my point is, whom is this person that you are receiving this information from? Can they be trusted?
They can.
I see. Well, having no other recourse, I suppose I shall have to accept it at that. Very well, we shall look into this. But presuming that this information is not sufficient, or that the supposed solution cannot be found, what proposal of aid do you expect from Saphira in our common shared vision?
Well, I hate to be rude, but this is a library. We're not war generals or people who can devise a plan to save the world. We're telling you that the world is going to end because we had expected that with you and everyone else, that all of you would be able to devise a plan. And
Am I to take
allocate
it
your
you do not?
resources.
Am I to take it you do not intend to participate?
Well,
Probably
this
participate.
the city itself will not send soldiers or men. We do not intend to create a standing army as it currently stands.
This isn't a headquarters for making decisions. It is a safe place to disperse information.
I think what my compatriots are attempting to disclose is that we do intend to participate. However, the majority of our initial intent in participation was to disseminate this information to as many people with potential to solve the problem as possible, and then see where it went from there. We are currently seeing where it goes.
We have informed
She-
many others.
Faustine Hightower is dumbfounded by what she has just heard. She will collect herself. I see. May I ask to what degree you wish to participate, so that I might adjust my following interactions?
Well, as previously stated, we will eventually get trade fully reenacted within the city. And then once the forges themselves are prepared, any forces that are being used to assist with the labs or other such sickness shall be supplied by the forge. You may make requests, shall be heard.
And that
Our
is the...
participation will most likely continue along the lines of discovery and supplying people with information.
Research shall continue on the sickness. Any breakthroughs or remedies of the sort shall be disseminated amongst all parties. We shall do what we can informationally. But unfortunately, we will not have a large imprint, at least within the war fronts.
She will then kind of lean back in her chair. I say this with no intention to insult, but I find it difficult to articulate this phrase without it perhaps being insulting by its very nature. Your intention is to warn us of the danger, to share with us the information of the danger, but not to fight alongside us?
Our hands-
Where would we fight exactly?
Well, that is the point, is it not, of the discussion, where our forces would most assuredly be used. This may be a library, and you yourself a librarian, but I'm a merchant. Neither of us are generals. In fact, I say amongst those that you have summoned, very few are generals.
Yeah.
Is your intention for us to combine our forces, our cognitive application, to determine the best course of action? Or do you simply wish to let us do it and have you... what? Do you understand what I mean? Your participation isn't clear. Are you...
Tried to make it very clear that we are to give you knowledge. We're not successful strategists or people who can marshal an army. We're very successful at gathering knowledge. In fact, the past 3 years has seen a sum total of more than what I would say is 500 for the people of your continent.
But there are warriors amongst you.
Yes.
Did you achieve this knowledge without strength of arms?
We can fight our battles, but we're not world.
Where there was battle, we usually sought to speak first, to negotiate, to avoid battle.
I feel I should emphasize.
That is a huge deception check. No, you guys.
I literally did not even hear a word you said. My mind was just yellow.
What we did? Well, I mean, well.
I'm gonna let that one go. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't have time to.
Now I'm awake. What did you say?
He tried to infer that we always try and talk our way through battles, but
Yes.
I feel like that's like 90%.
yes,
Don't even.
Kidding me?
like half maybe.
We definitely fucked up those Therians without asking.
Dude,
Yes.
Okay, and at first, to be fair, at first.
you fucking iced them, like
They did.
and then defiled their bodies. Yeah, we're not going into it. All right, it's fine.
No,
The point is, she will continue.
We're not going to stand idly by after the planning. We have goals and directions that we're already planning on going after the meeting. There's this big
Such
bird,
as?
for example.
Such as
There's a gigantic angry bird in one of the locations that we need to liberate, and I think our group has elected to go take care of it ourselves.
a bird.
It was part of the experiment.
We're gonna kill the bird.
Okay. Apologies for the discoordination. We are currently investigating one of the laboratories. We nearly have it secured, but we have needed a final push to fully secure it.
I see.
I think we're both approaching this the wrong way. You're merchants, we're librarians. Perhaps there should be somebody in this conversation, such as one of the generals, who is going to use both the information and trade at the utmost efficiency. Perhaps a question for you would be, do you have any preference or ties to people such as the Baron, the Barrow King, or
She'll look over her shoulder
people.
at Grandmother Iron and will say, "There's one of the most masterful warriors that I have ever seen at my right shoulder." Grandmother Iron will salute. I believe that she will be able to provide this information. Apologies, I will adjust my acumen from this point forward. Am I to take it then that we are to meet as one to discuss this plan that you wish for us to discuss, and for you not to participate as directly in? Should you be involved?
I mean, if you want us to, I guess.
Why would we not want you to?
Hey.
You have the
Of
knowledge.
course they want us to.
Hey,
I, for one, would like to be there.
Again, Star, he is a holy man, and his focus
What-
is very much on such.
Girl, you don't have to speak for me. I mean, you can. I just kind of brushed it aside.
It's more excusing your behavior, but at this point,
My behavior. I think we're talking past.
mm,
Well, Miss Hightower, what do you want to do? Which of our points has resonated the most with you? Which of these problems do you think is something that you'd want to tackle and should be tackled? Perhaps
There are many things that come to my mind. There are many concerns that I have, not just for my people, for our standing, for our local troubles, and for the troubles of the continent altogether. You have come forward and told us that our world is ending, and yet you do not offer us guidance. You know more than us, and yet your apathetic approach to not participate in any sort of leading vocation speaks to me that you, quite frankly, it seems you don't care. I am not asking...
It's not apathy, it's wisdom. I'm not going to advise the
Why?
head of a
How is that
nation
wisdom?
state.
How is that wisdom?
How am I supposed to advise you?
No,
exactly.
I agree.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's deference to known leaders of factions. That's why we brought you here.
I shall need to confer as to what it is that I want. I want what is best for Corvinus and my people. It is important that we are able to speak amongst ourselves to come to a conclusion that benefits as many people as possible. And as you have said so yourself, our individualistic squabbles must be put aside. For without the continent surviving, none of it matters anyway. I suppose my expectation was that you would have a plan with this knowledge that you present, or at least that you would want to participate in the forming of one. The presumption that you would not be involved unless asked is, well, not something that I expected. To have the initiative to share this knowledge, but not to propose solutions is... well, I don't know the word for it.
We get that a lot.
Asinine comes to mind.
I think it would be asinine to ask somebody like me for a proposal to a solution for a problem that it is without my realm of ability.
I am not asking you, I am asking the Carnelian Circle. Or am I misconceived that you are individuals of a plethora of professions, skills, and specializations? Truly, you have proven your capabilities and competency to have even gotten this far. Or did you simply luck your way through these encounters you've had?
no one in great standing can stand without some amount of luck. But I'll go to something you said earlier. What you believe is best for Corvinus.
Yes.
I'll ask you this simply. Do you believe that what you believe is the best for Corvinus is what the Brass Baron, the Barrow King, Carter, even the Druids, do you believe that they share these exact same what is best for Corvinus?
No.
That is exactly the issue that we stand upon. We need all of these people coordinate, work together, while endlessly, in the end, having a completely different ideal that they're working towards. Obviously, they wish to survive. Obviously, they wish to fight against this infection. But we've also informed them of an ancient wizard whose labs litter this land. We are dangling dangerous powers in front of the people's faces. And everyone wishes to run forth and grab it. And we have to sit back and watch, because we have to make sure that you, or anyone else within this circle, does not end up accidentally causing more problems than they could have ever have hoped to solve.
Her eyes will narrow. So you do take a position of authority then?
We must, apparently.
And yet
I
you will
hope-
not participate? Your words are confounding. Your direction split. One
We
of
are
you
in
says
a-
one thing and another says another. Do you not have a united front on what is to happen? How can you purport to say to me and to the other leaders that you have called here, which is a great feat in and of itself, that we, with each our own different outlook of what is best for our world, must come together and find a way to agree with one another, and you will sit back and do nothing except to interfere when we act not in accordance with what you believe to be right? Is that not what you have just said? You are either going to be in a position of authority or none at all. My confusion, and to be clear, apologies for my abruptness, but my bluntness dictates I want to know which side of this fence that you are on, because to be in the center is madness.
I guess we're on the side of madness. And for some context, we met 2 years ago. Most of us, the homeless people.
And yet we're here.
What does that matter?
Yeah,
It means that if a bunch of people like ourselves, who barely seem to agree on a great deal, manage to work together long enough to gather all of the main leaders of every faction that matters on Corvinus to try and fix something, you can do it as well.
Is that what that means?
That's what it looks like to
One
me.
would also dictate that if you were capable of doing all of that, the rather simplistic method of participating in the conversation should be equally as easy.
It's very difficult to participate in the conversation when everybody else participating has a great expectancy of what you're capable of. When in fact that's not the case.
So you're saying you are incompetent?
Obviously
I am
not.
saying that I am an incompetent war strategist, yes. That
Are
is
all
what
of
I'm
you
saying.
incompetent war strategists?
No.
I-
Probably.
Mr. Chroma would probably be competent.
I've
I see.
have some training as a commander, but it is
We should. Miss Hightower is correct. We should be part of the conversation. That's the whole point.
When the fuck did you get training as a commander?
I didn't. I was
I-
pointing
I
at
did.
Chrome as well.
Gruul.
Oh, Gruul.
At this point,
Did he?
At this point, Faustine
Recently, yes.
will stand. Well then, I thank you for your time, Carnelian Circle. I have much to discuss. I thank you for the information you have provided. I, if you so wish, will attempt to speak to the other leaders and bring them together. Do you wish to be there when this is done? Or do you intend to do it yourself?
Think we should be there, ladies,
I will
gentlemen.
be there.
But I am open to the idea of Lady Hightower taking the lead of the discussion, as she is good at it.
Very well.
If I can interject, I
Please.
agree with Faustine. I am concerned of why we aren't helping, aren't interacting. I know we have our own agendas, but to sit here and say we'll give you information because we can, but we're not to help, is a disgrace in many ways of what I am. I am confused on what we all have on this table. Are we all librarians to sit in a quiet library and hope that the others may just stand lucky, heal this Corvinus issue?
Well, how do we help Miss Faustine here exactly?
As
Sounds like they have an issue with aberrations in their city, or close. And we have a city built with forges. We can arm their men. In return, we can get trade. Of course, we have the issue with long distance traveling.
I will glance over at Nenanoth. Mr. Nenanoth, you are somewhat of an expert in hunting aberrations, are you not?
I was.
Commander,
Monstrosities,
apparently.
aberrations, and
Still somewhat familiar with the concept. What would be the best boulder parchment shears equivalent to best handling aberrations that we have access to?
that is a complicated issue.
Perhaps, she will interject, perhaps we should discuss this with all present.
Agreed.
May we use this place to have this discussion?
It is open to you and all the other.
So be it.
Yes.
Then I will go and discuss with my subordinates the best course of action and proposal. I shall speak to the other leaders myself and contact you when we are ready to use the sanctuary.
Thank you for your time.
She will give a nod of acquiescence and will excuse herself and her sport.
Well, that was a mess.
When the fuck were you?
I took time in my training. What about it? I
Your
lead the
training?
undead now. Yeah, just as you spent your time training to become a stone thrower, did you not?
Been throwing rocks my whole life.
Yes, and now you do it more. I don't know, surrounding yourself with them.
So you're saying that during my stint in the library for half a month, became commander?
I learned basic formations. Yes.
Anyway. Good words, Chrome. Well done, bringing us back to center.
I felt like there was too much of selflessness. We don't want to help, but we are given the ability to. I don't know where you all stand, but I want to help. Information is not enough for me, so I'll walk there myself.
It is.
She didn't want weapons or gold or anything. She wanted guidance. I'm not gonna give her that. I'm not gonna tell her how to save her.
Well, then
She
you
wanted
can stand to the side and we
know.
can maybe speak to them. Goals of futures. How to interact with these things. If you simply wish to inform and then walk away, then walk away.
Okay,
So
there's not inform and then walk away. I'm staying here under a suspension of my own fucking disbelief. As well as now we're gonna go kill a phoenix?
I thought that
I'm
was the
not
plan.
walking away from any of it. There's also the issue of a trapped goddess who probably has the answers to all of our questions, and she will most likely have to be hard fought for. And yes, I will put my life on the line. Just on the off chance she has a story I don't already have. So there is no walking away from this. I had plenty of chances to walk away.
You
Now I
want to
sit
go
here while
after.
you dangle your fucking feet.
You want to go after the goddess, so that you don't have to pay attention to my feet. Is that it? Is that your
Sure.
priority, Marlowe?
Yes. And that 300 gold and 2 bottles of wine. Fuck. Asking me.
I think we need to make it clear to these world leaders that we are not simply going to stand by. They need to understand that we also have plans and what they are, what our intentions are personally, what we're bringing to the table beyond just getting them together and giving them the information. Are we planning to go fight the Phoenix? Are we going to go save Matheria ourselves? Are we doing something different? What is the plan?
We are acting, and I do not believe that this statement of inaction, they're calling towards whether or not we're doing something. The way you act is not going to be any way of securing their confidence, whether now or in the future.
That's exactly the problem.
Call.
You just told them that we're not doing anything. What are we doing?
Ooh, okay.
They need to know.
We're gonna go kill a bird and resurrect a god. What are you doing?
Great.
You gonna go kill Agamemnon? And no, they want guidance.
So we tell them what to do.
We just tell them what to do? Are you fucking...
Why not?
Remember when you said that there were too many
Courier.
problems and we couldn't do everything, Marlowe?
Yeah, I also didn't say that I would know everything to do and I should tell
Cool.
people what to do.
But we know a lot of problems. Point them towards one. It's
Some
not
people
that
can't
hard.
figure out a direction themselves. They have to be told, hey, go do this, go do that.
Gnarly.
And once you tell them where to go and what to do, they'll figure out how to do it. Probably.
You know what? You can take care of that. I
Sounds
bestow
good.
onto you the responsibility of directing the world leaders of Corvallis. Get that load off my shoulders.
Oh, it was on your shoulders this whole time? I thought,
Apparently,
okay.
when the woman asked for guidance.
Just because you spoke up doesn't mean you were the only one she spoke to.
I think she was speaking to the Carnelian Circle,
As she
and
said,
that's all 5 of us.
Look, it is a hard balance having to keep all of these people appeased, but that does not mean that we have to stand idle, which we evidently, even by your own word, have no intention of doing, which what she was asking. I think the one who's confused here the most is you at this point. Misinterpreting what people are asking of you. Leading to that disaster of a conversation.
I'm going to inspect Gruul and see if there's any chunks of skull missing and raw brain matter exposed.
He's got his mask and hood on. Good luck. You can't phase.
Hey,
Marlowe
are you
is
martial checking him for his persuasion
serious
skill?
head rot from this direction.
My man's got brain rot.
Look, I think it could be just as been as simple as explaining our intentions of going into the Ice Under, clearing it out, claiming it, and then simply stating that we have intentions of fully having probably Pandora going through and finding all of its secrets, and then reporting all of that to them. That likely would have given them something to believe our actions in. Simple, yes? Part of the
Yes,
reason why we
and
wish to fight this Phoenix.
And then we have to have a list of suggestions and targets to hand out and let them. If we are to be standoffish about who should do what, we should let them pick from a list.
Didn't we give them a list? Almost a literal list on a map of
Yes,
issues, places?
but not an active list, just a list of issues. We need to give them what can be done about each issue, potentially. At least a guess. Something to investigate.
Do we know more than them what could be done about each of these issues?
I think we
know
do.
to some degree, most likely.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to the
hold on.
aberrations, we have more information about what's being used with them. We have certain amounts of knowledge that the druids will be needed for cleansing of the ley lines.
Let's play a game here. How about let's just presume that all of these disparate forces are directly under our control via persuasion, right? And we can just point them to places, and they'll just say, "Let us have that as an operational assumption on this game." Okay, let's do a simulation. How do we save the world then? What do we tackle first? How do we go about doing that? We have all the power in the world. What do we do?
Presuming we can trust them all to go and do it. Yes. Okay. First, there's already people going to the Isle of Mana. Yes? Have we heard from them?
No, we told them
No.
not to communicate with us until they believed that they were no longer hunted.
Well, then we have to trust that they are doing their part of the job.
But we could always send them backup.
We could send them backup if we thought that it would help. So that's one. I'll write down in the corner of my sketchbook. 1. Isle of Mana, send backup. Let's see.
Broken Brothers is already being handled by the Brass Baron.
Broken Brothers, Brass Baron. And we can investigate as to whether he needs any help with that, or any specialized help, because each faction has their specialties, and if we need to split and organize them that way, that would be of benefit. Let's see here. Scritchy.
Do we have anyone going to the Silverstones after our little mess up with the demons?
The Barrel King has been informed of it. Says he's moving his troops down there with our last conversation with them.
Yes,
Okay, very
he's
good.
moving his knights.
I'm exactly...
You see, this is the thing,
why
though.
I'm confused, because we have our allies being sent to things to which you don't have any issues with, but the moment we go to someone who hasn't declared their allegiance towards us, and suddenly it's I don't want to direct you anywhere.
That aside, we're getting off topic. What's a fourth?
When did we send our allies to... We told them about issues, took it upon themselves to do something about it.
We gave them opportunities, and they jumped onto it.
Up until this point, we were messengers bringing information. We were nobodies. Now we lead Moaz-Gadan. We're the Carnelian Circle. People are coming to us for answers. The roles have switched. Now we send people on errands. We are no longer the errand runners. Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Marlowe.
Aaron, yes. Good.
Everything's an errand if you put it on a list. Speaking of, number 4, Demon Wastes and saving Mytheria. Who are we sending to do that? I suppose we should probably speak to Carter.
Yes, we'll need to speak with him soon.
5 Advanti Isles.
5 Advanti Isles.
We've already directed Saphira and the Free Cities towards it.
Well, hopefully they'll work towards that then.
At least this way, when we bring the whole group together again, we can outline down the list that these people are looking at this, and these people are looking at this. Does anyone have support that they can lend them that will be helpful? It'll lead the conversation. That's what they're looking for.
For the Saphira group, how come we didn't tell Saphine about our teleportation circle?
Because we promised the druids we wouldn't.
That's right.
Ah.
The druids know about it, and we told them we'd only tell them. I think the original intent was to keep it out of the Baron's hands, but we may have been a little more specific than intended.
Well, I was at least able to direct them towards something similar. From my understanding, once the islands are completed, they would send you to somewhere else, some form of teleportation. But we didn't get very much far with that.
Well, we're
think
also
we should have
supposed to be
stated
on
that.
the lookout for lost druids. That was something the druid guy wanted.
So we can put out probably a notice of some kind, something we could get with the Dons in various places. Put out a Thieves' Cant based notice looking for druids and have them redirect here. Hopefully, we'll get enough travelers coming this way. If we can keep it on the down low, I think that would be a probably good idea.
I think that would be best a conversation between Sewigg and the other druids. Something he might be able to assist with.
Yes. And I have a small list of connections that my mentor left me, so hopefully we can get... I don't know. If we want to keep it out of the public eye so that the druids don't feel like they're being hunted or led to some kind of secret Mytherian slaughter, it's an idea. I'm writing it down. Okay. Well, at least that's 6 things on the list. That's things to think about. We should probably speak to Carter. I'm sure this list will increase.
While we're here, and before we call Carter, I wish to bring something forward. I wish to inform Carter about the belief we have that the Brass Baron might be the new avatar of Orange. As one who was once its avatar, or at least something of similar, it might be worthwhile to ask him about his experience. And perhaps what we might do to calm the Baron should he ever rise.
Probably good for understanding's sake.
So, am I to believe that list of, 6 things?
So far.
That's your plan to save the world?
It's something, okay?
It's
Maybe
a list
it'll
of
work.
things that need to be fixed, right?
Yes.
Well,
Maybe it will work, and
in
maybe
some
it
sense,
won't.
It's a list of problems.
Yeah,
not
of course it
solutions.
is. But it is a
Well,
list of
the
problems.
game is you're supposed to solve these problems because you're being asked for your guidance to direct all these world leaders. That's the premise of the game. And
I will
instead, you made
slide
a
my
list
list
of-
over to Marlowe, and you can see that the list of 6 things is not only the problems, but also they have who we have looking at them.
I
These are
believe those-
assigned problems. It's a different thing.
Do you think that this piece of paper is worth the attention of a general who could command half of this continent?
Yes,
Notify
I do.
Dawns about druids.
Yes, a general would be rather encouraged to maybe grab a druid, perhaps one directed by Sewigg himself, who has been taught the way of the dream, which we have been informed is a way of long-range communications between the
beyond that,
a general would be very interested in such a thing.
thank you.
And I know a thing or
that's
two
what I'm
about
trying to say.
communications. Sorry.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Anyone in a leadership position is going to much appreciate someone who comes to them with at least a potential suggestion of a solution to a problem that they've seen, rather than simply presenting problems. This list that I have right here is a list of problems with potential solutions. That's
And
what they will want to see.
We've all sprinkled in our suggestions here and there, especially through the meat of the issues we've laid out. But that's not the game. The game is you save the world. You have everything at your disposal. And you've just made a list of 6 problems. And
What's your point?
my point is that people are coming to you, people who have multiple lifespans worth of pedigrees that outshine yours, and they're asking you for guidance. And you're...
I'll cock my
Marlowe,
head. I'm
we
what?
need people so that we could go find these areas, learn stuff to save the world.
I think he
We
understands
have
that much.
people. We'll send them forth so that they can go to the places that need the fixing done. What?
I think what he's getting hung up on is the idea that he still considers us all nobodies. And we're not.
I don't consider you nobodies, but I certainly don't consider you delegating responsibility to people to save the world.
Yet somehow.
Am I wrong here? Like,
Most certainly.
Yes.
oh, okay. Where should we send off? What's her fucking name? Hightower. Where should she go?
She
Yeah,
has
Monty
access. She has access to a great number of mercenary companies with highly skilled, trained individuals. Yes, we send a great number of them to the Envanti Isles. Get that place figured out. What they find there, we won't know. We were meant to go there one day, and then we decided not to. We saw a bigger picture.
But we can't send their people there because they have an issue. I think we all forget that they have their own concern and issues that we have to help them with so that they can help us solve the Corvinus issue.
We can't even solve the Corvanus issue in make believe if we pretended that we had all of the world's resources at disposal.
We have to try something.
And I have to disagree with that statement, because first off, even
We just failed.
lightly going over the dossiers of all these different aberrations, I can already see connecting through lines. And if I could find some way of, I don't know, concocting a cure or some kind of poison, who knows, that could be easily sent out to all these different factions to assist them. And then they can use that information to help themselves. Is that something that would be good for you? Simply gathering information, processing it, and then using that processed information to then help them? That not be a little piece of this saving the world you're speaking of?
I don't know if I can answer that question. I felt like that was way too out of character. What is Gruul asking Marlowe?
Hey, he's confused as to what in the goddamn world you're even trying to you're trying to say that we're not worthy to save the world, but that we have to be here to save it anyway.
No. It's not what he's saying.
Okay.
He's saying that
Maybe you need to clarify out of character.
Let's clarify.
what you were saying,
Yeah.
because
out of
you're-
character.
Yeah.
Out of character. Marlowe's suggesting that none of us are competent enough to delegate responsibility. So he says, let's play a game. I will propose that we can just make believe that we have all of the resources in the world and we can do anything we want to. How would we solve all of these problems? And that game wasn't concluded or succeeded.
I have to say, from life experience, as someone who's accidentally wound up too important at his job, I feel completely incompetent to be delegating any kind of chore or job to anybody anytime, but it's literally my job now. I think that's the case with any leader.
Okay, but are we world leaders or are we the
yes.
guys who found
Yes, we are.
If I may, I think I need to intervene here a little bit. So I think there's two base conceptions here that you guys seem to be making arguments for two different conceptions that are not on the same table. First of all, your outlook that you guys are going to lead these people, first of all, isn't entirely correct. I don't think the intention is that you are going to lead all these people and tell them what to do. The confusion is your avoidance of doing that has put off an apathetic air that convinced at least one of the world leaders that you don't want to participate at all. I think the thing that you should probably perhaps consider is that you participating in the conversation and giving input doesn't mean you're leading it. It means you're participating just like they are, because none of those leaders are going to lead everyone else either. That's the whole point. You're coming together to a capacity of relative equals, trying to decide how to save everyone. Nobody's the head honcho over anyone else, at least directly. Yes, personalities will clash and eventually power struggles may yet begin. That's the nature of these politics. But the act is I don't think there's any indication that you guys are going to tell all the world leaders what to do. I think that is... I think that's an incorrect synopsis to make out of all of this. You have made yourselves relevant, and that your influence is certainly there in order to assist in them, just like all the other influences are. But your influence of control does not put you in the capacity of you are now responsible for the entire world.
Okay, but the air of the entire conversation with Faustine, even since the beginning, was she was operating under a presumption that we were an authority, calling upon her, and then she came back to us asking for guidance.
Yeah,
and
did.
That entire thing is, and we played into that, I think. And I'm saying that that's not the framework of how this. She's seeing it the wrong way, and
she did that because it's polite to do so. She's playing the political game because that's the kind of character that she is. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, my point is like we're not. Well, I'm not gonna guide her on anything because I don't think any of us are qualified.
And that's the problem though. Is that let me explain.
The rest of us are bucking against that.
Let me explain it this way. She came to you off asking for your guidance because that is a political ploy of deference of power in order to become more amenable to negotiations. That is a negotiation tactic she's using because that's the kind of character that she is. You'll notice that the Brass Baron didn't do any of that shit, right? I'm trying to roleplay all these characters in that regard. The second thing to keep in mind is that your approach to her is bamboozling because you've essentially through your nature of what you've demonstrated as your character is that you don't want to participate and you don't think that you are able to because you are not capable of doing it. And that in and of itself completely invalidates your position that you have presented yourselves thus far as being relevant to the conversation at all. And that is
she
not
mistook the position.
Well, no. This isn't her mistaking the position. That's why your party. That's what your party is saying that your actions have depicted to her. If you want to know the outlook of Saphira, she thinks that the incompetency that you've shown is that none of you are on the same page. You argued in front of her. You did not show a united front at all.
Yeah.
So,
in character, explained to her that I met these people 2 years ago.
And she... Okay, that doesn't mean anything to her. Like, that. So what?
Okay.
Like, you also fucking did so much in 2 years that she can barely even begin to fathom. Like, you're heroes. Whether you want to be or not, or whether or not you believe that heroes exist, all that philosophy aside, you are exceptional individuals that accomplish more than anybody that she has seen up to this point, or at least to some regard. So, I'm sorry, but you don't get to play the card of, we only met 2 years ago. That's irrelevant. You accomplished more in 2 years than
most people are aware exists.
You are important because you pulled shit off. Now, you can have like a position of character that you don't believe that you're worthy of it, and that's fine roleplay, and we should explore those character beats, but that doesn't remove the fact that concept exists for that character. Just because you met 2 years ago, sure, you can say that, but that doesn't mean anything to her. I mean, she doesn't know all of her subordinates for several years. Some of them, sure, but I think even the fact that Marlowe tries to what would you call it? Devalue the accomplishments and capabilities of his party openly in public to a world leader is something. Well, it's not about being rude. It's that's not the projection of competence and strength that your party obviously wants to do. I think that's where a lot of this argument comes from. You have an outlook on what you think your party's role is in all of this, or at least how you are in it as well, and they do not agree with that at all, nor, I believe, have leaned any of their discussions towards it. That being said, though, That's the first issue, is that she is not expecting you to lead. Her deference to you was a political ploy, because that's the type of character that she is. Now we go to the participation, which is the second part of it, and that is that your neutral position does not... How can I explain this? If you wish to be in a neutral position, you have to participate. Being neutral doesn't mean you don't participate. And neutrality is not absence. Neutrality is not abstination. So, at least in the political spectrum. So you have to
I guess we're participating then.
Well, that's what I mean. And then we come to the next part of how will you participate? And that is the participation in the discussion of how resources and problems are solved. To the whole point of the conversation of how do we save the world, will you do it by solving problems, big ones to small ones, and you do that by using the world's resources, which this is the closest you're ever going to get to it, really, unless you conquer the entire continent, which if you want to do that, just back the Baron, you can have this done 2 years, but I don't think you guys morally want to do that. So the whole claim here is that you are in a position to finesse the undulations of power to produce the best result. because you have all these people that believe they know what is best, and you are, as the neutral party, able to use your influence to infer those the tides, so to speak, because you are in a position of respect and trust as well. So you have that position. And this doesn't mean like you take control of them and that you are leaders. It's a subtle power that you have on the political spectrum, and you earned it through your adventuring. So I think that's really where we are.
Yeah.
And deciding how to use these resources, who you want to give what information, which is why I asked for that information at the start, is because I need to know in the future conversations that we have what those NPCs know, because it'll change how they react. And that's really important. So, like, I'll give you an example of what I mean. The reason that she's even taking you seriously enough to be offended by your disagreements is because she is able to research what you've accomplished. You have done a lot, whether or not you think that you have. You've conquered an ancient dwarven city, reestablished a government, participated on the world scale, traveled the world, established yourself as one of the last bards that have survived the fall of Mornhall. You've established yourselves as a direct connection to the Barrow King, which is up to this point has been a political entity that people have not been able to communicate with because he's a fucking undead rage monster. And you've done so much, and that's why she's even taking you serious in the first place. So I think what's important is that you look at it this way. You were the doomsayer out on the street telling everybody the world's about to end, but you're actually correct. And not only were you actually correct, you convinced the world to listen. You want to save the world. You don't want America to win. You don't want Canada to win. You don't want fucking France to rule the earth. You want the world to be saved. And they're listening. Make it happen. That's your role in the story. You're the heroes. Figure it out. Within your own concourse of your characters, within your own concourse of your roleplay. Make mistakes if you have to. It doesn't. This is your part in the story.
Okay. My point on incompetence still remains, because even in a hypothetical, imaginary, magical Christmas land, we can't make it. And I will suspend. I will offer the idea that maybe we should just have confidence if we have a plan like that, and then delegate. But we don't even have a plan.
I mean, even if I believed you, like, in character, I still would try, because sitting around doing nothing is antithetical to, like, everything I've done.
There's not doing nothing. A lot of this shit about, like, we're sitting back, just giving information, doing nothing. We clearly do things. Like, a lot of.
But that's not what you're projecting.
I'm not.
The projection is there.
I'm fucking projecting anything. I'm saying this chick's coming to us. Like, do you have a plan?
Dude, that's literally what you've been saying. That's what they're responding to. They're responding to what you're saying.
So we'll just sit down and wait for the world to end.
Like, you even tried to use
I never said I'm sitting down waiting for the world to end or I'm gonna walk away. Like,
no, but you're ignoring the world ending. You're clearly stating over and over that there's no hope to this. So might as well get what you want out of it.
What the fuck?
I don't know about that, but what I was referencing was I think the way that you've been projecting leads them to believe that you don't think they can do it, so they shouldn't even try. Is that what you intend?
I don't think that we are a good authority on what these parties should do. I do not think that it is wise for us to give them guidance, because I look at Twilight Mouse and I'm like, okay, let's play make-believe. How do you save the world? And there's no productive solution.
Well,
Hold on. There's two things there.
first, define what you mean by authority, and second, and this is the important thing, how can you ask Twilight Mouse to create in Magical Land where she has all the information to come up with a plan when she literally does not have all the information? You're asking her to do something that she doesn't have.
What I was about.
Yeah, that's a bad faith argument in and of itself.
It's also kind of his point. He thinks that we all don't have all the information that we need, so that should be impossible for all of us.
But that's an argument for decision paralysis. You don't have all the information, so you don't do anything. That's
well. The thing is,
I don't think that's what
I'm
he's
not
saying.
paralyzing over it. I have begun a plan, but that he's balking against that. So
I guess what you guys need to decide is like, are you going to make the plan, or let me come at it this way. Maybe this will help. Do you intend to get all the other world leaders together and talk with them at the same time and figure out a plan together? And when I say together, I mean all of you working together. Or do you intend to give them this information and then fuck off?
I intend on having them.
There's
all
really
work
not a
together.
middle ground here, is what I'm saying. It's either you are participating or you aren't.
I mean, I will be.
I want to participate.
I want to participate.
Yeah, I think Chrome. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's just Marlowe.
I've already stated that I do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's
He's
only
not
Marlowe.
leaving.
Okay, so we go with option 1, and that is an active role in the planning, strategizing, and advisement.
At least being there.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't have to strategize. Like we can
Yeah, the amount that you quotations lead by your definition of authority is up to you in the moment. You could just not say anything. But being there in and of itself means that you're participating. At the very least, you get to witness, because I'm going to roleplay through all of it. You get to witness the different powers at play, which is great for entertainment value, at least I should hope so. And secondarily, it gives you the opportunity to see how you could use your knowledge, what you are an authority on, to aid them. I think there's a disconnect here that you are going to be telling the general how to run his troops. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
This
We're
is-
waiting for him to
it's
tell us
not
how he'd run his troops.
It's
and
not how to
then
run his troops. And
if he's missing
I'm not
something,
confused
we
about
can
that.
interject.
It's people are asking us to point on the map and say, "Go there. This is where you should solve this problem. We trust you to be competent."
That's not...
What-
I have not asked you that yet. I actually haven't asked you that.
Nope.
What I did was...
There's been-
No. I asked you, can you tell me what points on the maps you have revealed? Not where you have pointed, go solve the problem, it's there. That has not happened yet. We're not at
That's
that
what I was
conversation.
suggesting, but it
Yeah,
might not even
that's
happen.
what Twilight Mouse was suggesting. I, as the NPCs, have not asked you to do that yet. There has been a deference to your guidance from Saphira, yes, but that's as a deferment of political manipulation, not because she actually wants you to tell her what to do. And furthermore, that's 1 out of the 7 world leaders. Or 8, or however many there was.
The goal is to let each individual specialist talk about the thing their specialist says, and sit and wait. And if there's something that comes up and they're missing something, but we know it, then we can interject if we choose to.
Yeah, participate. If you know something like, that's a bad idea, like, I'll give you an example. Hey, what's, like, they find the Depthar. Let's use this. What do you guys tell them?
Haha, let's not do that.
Don't fucking do that, right? And then you
But
explain
ruins everything.
and then you explain why, and then they listen
Yes.
to you because you know. There you go.
Yep.
The intention is not that you are going to tell them how to run their states better or use their resources better. But there's also like and god damn it, you're fucking you've played and experienced the world. You might have an idea they don't have. Like, you're exceptional people. So even if you take out the player aspect, your character is an exceptional person that has accomplished a lot, and they accomplished it through wit, power, and luck. So maybe, just maybe, you might have a suggestion that person doesn't know. That's part of the game. That's your heroic influence. Like, it's
Big damn heroes.
Anyway, I hope that we've come to a at least an understanding of where we stand right now, because, you know, we were kind of going in circles there for a bit.
A little bit.
What
I will posit something before having a long and hard. I've been holding this in. If we going with the route of taking an act, if we are to
can you
take
speak into
the
your mic a little
respon-
bit more? Sorry, you're cutting out, and I don't want people to.
Oh shit! It's my fucking. Get 1 second. Okay, if we are going to take
way better. Continue.
If we're going to take the active role of choosing to delegate and advise about what's to do and where to go, we better have a overarching plan or triage of what are the bad things to tackle first, where should things go, like a battle map of that kind of thing. And we just don't. We just have suggestions. Some are consensus, some are personal. Most of it we all agree on.
So we can assemble it with the rest of the people in the council.
Yeah.
Or you can assemble it, or you can assemble what you think is, and then take it to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we get another NPC asking for guidance and we step into that delegating position, like as of now, where we're currently standing, we are incompetent.
They're only doing it as good manners.
Well, she did.
Yeah, I don't fucking know that, and fuck her.
Okay.
Taking the interaction earnestly and assuming that this is a role that we might be called to fulfill, and together we all agree to fill that role. We need to be competent at doing that, and we're not. That's my main.
All right.
I think that scene is coming up, where Feltine is gonna gather all of us up, and we're gonna sit down and talk about our major problems. I think that's what she was referring to.
Yeah.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I believe your insistence that you guys don't have the plan and it is incompetent to do so without one, are you inferring that you as a party are incapable of making one, or that you need to make it first and then go talk to those people?
I don't know if we're incapable of making one. We might be able to with a decent amount of assumptions. We certainly lack enough information to make one that's guaranteed to succeed. But
there's never a guarantee for success. You make a battle
chance.
plan, and then you enter the battle, and you toss it all aside because it's all going to change.
Yeah, but going through the game of like, oh, we have imaginary god powers and we could do anything with anyone on the continent. We couldn't even come to a solution that stopped Agamemnon.
That's because no battle plan survives the front lines. Sometimes we just got to try something.
And we also don't have all the details.
And more so to the fact, I should interject once more, you actually do have fancy god powers. It's called divination. You have a divination specialist wizard. Use him. If you want to know if something will work out, or if you want to know something specifically, you can literally look into the future. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yes, you actually do. You can get at least closer to a guarantee than you possibly could, than they can, that's for sure. The fact, Laza is your fucking trump card. So, use it.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what this level of, like, we are incapable of coming to a solution, or at least, like, you believe that it's strong enough that you should be fighting us in RP about it.
It's decision paralysis.
I think maybe this will help. Pick one problem that you have on the board and come up with a solution to it that you all can agree is the best solution that you can make that you currently have access to. Like, what do you think the worst problem is out of all these problems on the board? Which one do you think is the worst problem? And when you select that problem, do you think that you know the root cause of it? And if so, how do you solve it?
It was a great question.
Luke, you had mentioned.
I said that was a great question.
You had mentioned.
I think that's the question for us and every NPC that we interact with that we should ask.
I think it's the depth are in their spawn, and like all across the continent.
You kind of broke up there, Kraig.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, personally, I would just put it out to say it's the depth are in their spawn across the continent.
Exactly.
Well, it's the fear as aberrations.
Yeah.
We don't know the depth yet. I don't believe so.
No, we know this is all spawned down from depth art, that they're like tier modified them in a bunch of different ways.
Gotcha.
Shall I go over the major problems?
Sure.
Please.
Okay, so major problems. Now, granted, they will have many child problems from them, but from what I believe your party knows about, there are the broken ley lines, there are Tyr's laboratories, there are, or rather I should say, Tyr's laboratory and the resounding experiments going out of control. There is the Depthar, manufactured or otherwise, and then of course there is the hold on, I gotta check, make sure you know that. Okay, you don't know that one or that one.
Guys, there's still stuff we don't know. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, but you know, there's more than one game, Winky Face. So,
What?
yeah, I think.
Who are these mysterious people?
I think those are the major ones, and they are all in and of themselves connected. Like the ley lines are sick because of the experiment that's running, and the experiment is running because the laboratories are going, and the Depthar are the presence of the Deptharian change is because of Tyr's interaction. So you got to find out which problem you want to solve, and what the root of that problem is, and how and what solution you may find to solve it. So,
I mean, this is
just pick one. Just pick one of them.
We send people to the labs.
All right, that's a great place to start. So, the labs, okay? How do you solve the lab problem? Or rather, what is the root of the lab problem?
they're hidden and well protected, and they're causing they are causing a multitude of unknown problems in the surrounding areas.
Deeper than that.
They contain.
They're abandoned and they are going rampant.
There you go.
They're broken.
They're broken. The experiments are continuing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you solve that?
Arm
Ending.
people, get them down and there to turn things off.
By turning it off. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you turn it off?
Sending people in to find out.
That's where my help ends.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's a do we know how to turn them off?
Right.
Yeah.
Knarh turned something off, right?
Yeah, but
By becoming energy, yes.
Well, she did it in a
So-
crazy way, but Knarh does have
Yeah.
a special connection to it at least.
yeah, we know we have a special key, but we don't have a. Other than throwing Knarh at them, we don't actually have a way of it.
See, that's part of a potential wacky solution. Would be to send groups to clear these labs, make them
Knarh
safe,
can go in and turn
send
it off.
in Knarh to turn it off. Yeah, we have a teleporting wizard.
That was one of the suggestions I was also thinking is, anyone who goes for labs, we should have Pandora essentially send her people off with anyone who wishes to go into labs, so they'll have some of the cultists who are used to working in these dark, horrible areas and be able to quickly ascertain the information down there.
Okay.
Obviously, they're unstable, but
Yeah, that's part of it. Okay.
So, one of the things is clear out the labs, so that we
Yeah.
can find out
That
how to
could be
turn
a-
them off.
We'll just do that as a first step. We'll just give it to everybody. Hey, let's clear these labs. Anybody got how we do it? Cool. All right. So that's on the docket. Do we still want to try and talk to Carter before we start rounding people back up?
yeah, because probably that other one's going to take a while. And it's probably best if we just ramp Carter up here.
Yeah. The other one, oh, you're talking about the Barrow King one?
Oh yeah, for OP.
Because I know Chrome wanted to talk to him, right?
Yeah, I can wait. Because we're gonna group up everyone, so the Bear King will still be here. So I just do it after. There's no problem. It should be quick.
All right, next week then.
Okay.
For that? All right.
Yeah.
So then Carter.
Carter it is. Call him in.
Can we do both at the same time, or is that
Barrow King
a
and Carter?
conflict of interest?
Do you wish to speak with them both specifically?
I don't know if the Marthaeans will like it. I have the option of we're gonna fight the Phoenix, we're gonna get a Phoenix feather, and I want to keep their bloodline because in the nature of Azukai, their history will be gone if they go to rest.
Yeah, Chrome wants to use the Phoenix Feather on the Barrow King to restore him to true life.
Ooh.
The Barrow King or his
descendant.
descendant.
Would there be a conflict of interest in having them both a part of the same conversation in regards to the Phoenix and Matheria? Or should we keep those two quests separate?
There's a lot that
Good
mingles
question.
them together. If you want to bring them both together and then have that full conversation, we can. I think they're the two most aligned characters that we probably need to get aligned. If you want to have the Matheria quest line.
Out of character, I think the Deadpool Wolverine with fucking Carter and Barrow King chick running through the demon waste killing demons, kind of fucking. But
I kind of
as purely aside from this whole like world of meaning stuff.
Did you say kind of fucky or kind of cool? I didn't hear what you said.
I don't even remember.
The adjective?
Something along the lines of those.
Kind of fucky cool.
Kind of fucking.
Kind of fucking? Oh, okay.
we be fucking up in here.
All right.
If
This
there's something
conversation
that
is gonna be fun.
if there's something between Chrome and the Barrow King that you don't want to be in front of Carter, I think we should do that first. But if you're down to
It's
combine
not the
two
Carter
quest
issue.
lines-
It's about the Trent issue. Trent is the Lord Inquisitor.
Oh, okay, so you don't
Okay.
want the rest of the party.
You can
just
just
want
call
Carter.
Carter. You don't have to call
Yeah,
him.
if you're down to call just
Yeah,
Carter.
so just Carter
Yeah.
and the Barrow King. Sound good?
Yeah. sure.
Sounds good.
All right.
Are you
Alright.
positive?
And then-
OP, are you positive?
Yeah.
Okay.
After I share my shit, and then we can have the other two come in, because they probably have information that Carter won't have, as seen before, as the Trent knew about Matheria, so and her true descent.
Okay, so we start with Barrow King and then we bring in Carter.
Correct.
Okay, I'm down for that.
Okay, that should be quick.
All right. Fuck, now I have to do my raspy voice.
Do we talk shit about Hightower when he gets in, or do we save that? Should we break the ice?
What do you want to say about her?
Can you believe this chick? She came in here asking for guidance.
Don't mention her feet.
No.
Don't
Also, I
mention our feet. Dude.
This 3 foot tall chick is like 20 years old.
Yes?
This, Marlowe. Sometimes Marlowe gives me isekai anime vibes, where he's just a guy from like Brooklyn inside a fantasy universe, just like
Guy from Brooklyn with a pet rock. Yeah.
look at this 20-year-old.
He's from the 80s.
3-foot chick kicking his feet. Kicking his feet.
None of these people have any idea I'm from Long Island.
they don't know. He's just the guy in the corner they don't know.
They don't know I'm from Rhode Island. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Boom. You call back in the Barrow King and his attendants before he is to leave. Greetings, Carnelian Circle.
Greetings.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. I was to return home on an urgent matter, and then I was called back in. Apparently, we are to have the Convergence sooner than I expected.
People want answers, but I believe at the moment one of ours wish to speak with you.
Very well.
I'll stand and I have a unique opportunity for you and your bloodline. The rest of us are planning to kill a creature that perhaps can truly resurrect anyone from undeath. And from my understanding, once Corvinus is fully healed, you and your bloodline will truly rest, and your history behind it will be forever unknown. As a librarian of this place, I cannot have that happen.
The Barrow King takes a long moment to respond. How certain of this are you?
That is
Quite
a...
certain.
Yes.
See. True life?
As true as it can be.
You will see the Barrow King shift his eyes over at his progeny behind him, who will look back with eyes of concern, unsure as to what he might decide. Evelyn Lestrange will simply close her eyes and nod, as if she already knows the decision her king has made. You would offer this to me, Venneth Tyr. Would not such a boon befit the Carnelian Circle in their coming trials? You would give such a gift to me and my kin.
The history is enough for a boon for us. I was hoping to give it to Atreus, as I understand that he has not had the chance to live life to the fullest.
The Barrow King will look towards Atreus, who is taken aback that such a thing would even be offered. You're correct. I lost many children that day. They have not had the opportunity to live their lives, to know the splendors of life, of the world and its beauty, to drink its waters, to taste its food, to feel the wind between their hair, to love. At this point, Atreus will go, "But father, we would..." "Quiet yourself, Atreus. I am fine. Carnelian Circle. Venneth Tyr. Nananoth. Allies of Alderfife. If what you offer is true, then I, Aelin Trueheart, sixth of his name, Lord of the Barrows, King of the East, and wielder of the Fey Iron Crown, accept. Please heal my child. You will have my thanks, my eternal gratitude. I had thought such kindness not possible. Are you certain? Truly.
As a father to another, give an opportunity to their little ones. It's enough. I don't have mine, but yours still stand.
Surely such a gift could be used upon your own child. I would not take another father's. I wouldn't.
I have to deny. I have attempted to settle down, but that's not who I am. You give me my name, Vengeance Blade. What I thought was towards the Metherians was false after learning I am Corvinus' blade, as she has nothing to defend with. As long as I stand, Corvinus has a chance.
Very well, Blade of Corvinus. He will then slowly bow his head. You have the thanks of a father. If such a thing is possible, I will give you anything you ask for it.
Just your aid in this healing of Corvinus is all we need.
So be it. You shall have the strength of the risen. Always. By the old laws and the new.
Ron will bow his head.
The moment you bring the feather, I shall marshal my troops, and our deal will be complete. Did you want to bring Carter in?
I'd like to say something. Bridge the gap.
Go ahead.
The True Heart name is etched into the spine of the history of this land. And throughout these meetings with these world leaders, it is dawning on me that we are being asked to do things that extend past simply collecting books. I think the task of preserving knowledge extends into preserving the history, and that being a part of the True Heart name that comes to this continent. There is another matter at hand that relates to this, and that is your other child, one who betrayed you. We still need answers from her, or to learn whatever she knew. We have spoken to Carter about this, in hopes that he can reconcile the misunderstanding of his people and his god. And we propose that perhaps yourself or maybe Evelyn in your stead can join us in this venture. Would it be alright if I call for him?
As the Carnelian Circle wishes. I will at least hear him out. You call for him.
Yeah.
Very well.
Okay. Laza will.
Hello?
I snap my fingers at Laza. Summon Carter now, please.
Captain Carter will approach the Carnelian Circle and salute. Captain Carter, at your service, Carnelian Circle. He will throw a watchful look over at the Barrel King and will eyes forward and take his seat. How may I be of assistance?
I think now comes to the point in the time of our discussions with the world leaders and yourself and everyone about what to do with Matheria. How to resolve this issue of ignorance. We've been speaking with Sir Trueheart, Lord Trueheart here, about possibilities. We have mentioned that his daughter still lives. Would you be amenable to working together in this?
will of course accept any aid in the search for Mytheria. I hesitate. Is there not animosity between the Barrow King and Mytheria? The Barrow King will then respond, yes, but greater is the call to honor. The Carnelian Circle has made a proposition to see that justice, no, perseverance is done. I have learned, felt my rage subside. I will allow you to seek my lost daughter, that she may be brought to me, that I might ask of her a father's questions. And then, if she chooses it, perhaps you shall receive your goddess's light again. I cannot go myself. Truth be told, I know not what I would do upon her first seeing her. I shall instead send Evelyn Lestrange to assist you. She is a devoted keeper of oaths, and will see my will carried out. Evelyn will salute. Is this amenable to the Carnelian Circle?
Quite.
Not.
Very well.
No.
For the time being, Captain John Carter of Mytheria, my wrath is spared you and your followers. Seek my daughter. Bring her back from her prison. Carter will nod. In that case, yes, I would be happy to take her in tow.
Good. Is there any more upon this topic that people wish to speak on? I have other things I wish to bring up to these two.
Carry on, Mr. Nina.
Wait. Hold up. Out of character. There was a conversation with Dark Sermon about the nature of the prison and how this is a two-part task. One is finding the body, the other finding the soul or something.
Correct.
We still don't have that information. I don't want to prod for it out of character or in character because I don't think I know anything about that. Is that something that would be brought up now, or is that
I
further down the line?
believe your party knows that she's imprisoned.
Yeah, we know about the imprisonment.
Yeah.
We
You know about
know
the-
she's in prison, but we don't know the information that.
So the information you're looking for would have come from Trent, I think.
And also Cornelius Blackfire, way back in those episodes.
Yeah, but he's talking about the thing that Dark Sermon learned from Marlowe and Trent and them.
Yeah. So that would be the time to bring it up. More specifically, chronologically, that conversation doesn't happen until after you guys meet with the world leaders and decide what to do next.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if
so-
that was before
yeah.
this.
So yeah, you're technically before the Dark Sermon conversation still, because in the timeline that I had to juggle, you had already talked about them, and they met you in between talks of like, because that discussion's probably going to take a full session or whatever. So I tried to like hit you on your bathroom breaks, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So we don't have any more. So do you guys have any other more questions on this part, or like the Matheria part? Because I was going to bring up the Brass Baron and the Orange part.
Good.
It's all you.
No, I think we're good there.
Next, I would like to direct more of my questions towards you, Carter.
Very well.
Can you explain to me what happened with the crystal that was handed to you by Marlowe some time ago? What you had seen, the visions it had given you?
He will quickly shift his eyes over the Barrow King.
It is of her nature, yes?
Should I?
This topic is of mutual interest to both of you, as the violet of the crystal was the same energy or force that Matheria had made a bargain with, and potentially caused the betrayal of the family.
I see. Well then,
It's all right, Carter.
I will try to answer your question. Then, could you repeat it?
When you were given the crystal and then proceeded to open it, from little we understand, violet represents memory. Were there any memories given to you, or visions, or something of the sort?
Visions, certainly, visions of my own ambitions, but they were overpowering, overwhelming, more than I wanted, more than I could ever have conceived to wanted. I saw visions of me conquering the entirety of the continent, me wedding Matheria, me taking her place.
That would be the orange.
Yeah, I think you saw the color orange, Kraig, not violet.
Mm-hmm.
It contained then. These is expected. I understand your worries. They are founded. The power is very real. But these were goals, perhaps whispering in the back of your head. Nothing to worry about. What does worry me is that we believe that there might be a new avatar, as you once were, but it more naturally occurring. Someone who doesn't need to be given it, someone who exemplifies it. It may very well cause a disaster with its power. This, we believe, but as of right now have no proof of, to be the Brass Baron. So any insight you have upon what this power is, how it interacts with the person, is of the utmost importance to us.
If what you say is true, perhaps it is. I'm not sure what aid I could really give. I only have a passing knowledge of Davian Laton. Certainly I have learned much about his troops, but... Well, actually, he strokes his chin a little bit. I might have something that you might find interesting. Granted, it's purely instinctual, I suppose. No, instinctual. An intuition I've had. I have noticed that his soldiers are... Well... I kind of look around. I've been around soldiers my entire life. I've trained many, taught many. But there's a certain value in true loyalty versus loyalty that is bought. It is in my experience that loyalty that is bought is fleeting, especially when one is faced with greater and greater, well, challenges. I find the loyalty of his soldiers to be unnatural to their particular regard. Much of them are made of mercenary forces. And what's further, I have even spoken with their quartermasters, and it seems that their coffers are always filled, which, in my personal experience, is not really possible. There are always ups and downs in the coffers of the quartermaster, times of plenty and times of not. Military life is the same as actual life. Feast and famine go hand in hand, and yet there never seems to be any mark of famine upon the Brass Baron's men. And I've always found that disconcerting. Either he is the greatest logistics officer I have ever seen, perhaps that has ever existed, or there is something more nefarious at work. Granted, that is just the intuition of an old man. I could be wrong. Perhaps he simply is that accomplished.
I have 2 questions before our final meeting where we decide what we are going to do for the fate of Corvinus. The first question is a question to both of you. It is a question of your intuition. But do you believe that the Brass Baron will work in accordance with the goal, the survival of Corvinus?
It is Carter that responds first. I believe that the only thing that he cares about is his own self-ambitions. But I think that also makes him predictable. If you look at it through what he can gain the most as, you can learn of his actions before he takes them. And I believe in that regard he could be controlled. The Barrel King will speak next. He is not the first to have aspirations to rule over this land. He will not be the last. But I have seen, I have witnessed his behavior when none are watching. You can tell much of a man of what he is doing when he thinks he is not being observed, or to how he treats those that can do nothing for him. The man is generous and uncharacteristically kind for someone in his position. I think he is a man riddled with his ambitions, but I do not think he is evil. I believe he truly believes in what he is doing. And that conviction of self-righteousness to agree with Carter makes him predictable.
My second question is for you, Gruul. I'd like to ask what is the heart of your question when you bring up the colors and orange in regards to the Brass Baron? I'd like to get these on the table before we have our last.
Yes. The point of it is we have gone on additional travels since before this meeting. A bit of an accidental jaunt. During this time, we came aware that the power that had taken Matheria, the corrupted violet, that this corruption of a sort could happen to the orange through the actions of someone on Corvinus. Having another one of the colors be released from its prison, so forth, corruption, would lead to more disaster of global scale, far beyond Corvinus. As you speak of ambition endlessly about this man, reinforces my beliefs that he might be this avatar more and more, as ambition and sacrifice are two of the key tenets of this power. But there is a solution, which is power of the red, wisdom.
Wisdom.
The thing that was called upon to help calm Carter. Words, while you don't necessarily need access to the powers to pull upon them, in a sense, speaking truth, understanding wisdom, as you understand it, should be able to temper the power of the orange and to stop disaster. We ask that you men, who might be our closest allies in this time, that you might help act as to share your wisdom with him the best you can.
I think there's an important piece of wisdom that still remains within our, not within our grasp, and that is the wisdom learned from a woman had fallen from a similar force that perhaps might corrupt. Perhaps this is the next step after we all accomplish what we're for.
Well, there is another reason to bring it up, is the Brass Baron has also requested Carter to travel to the city of Mornhow. Apparently, with his war efforts, the Matherians have not properly settled in within the city, and he wants for you, Carter, to enter that unsettled business and attempt to sway them to your side, to grow your forces, and then allow him a more peaceful entry into Mornhow.
He wishes for us to use our relationship with you to try to sway you to do so, to give him a leg up in the war, is what he actually...
Exactly. We understand this to be entirely a manipulative action that would be convenient for all parties. But as we stated, we must be able to temper his ambitions. Simply giving him the city, especially seeing as, from my understanding, you are a native, would not be tempering him very much.
Insight checks.
There it is.
Ooh.
I'm gonna incite Twilight Mouse. See if she's a spy for the Brass Baron. It's a 19, bitch.
I'm not.
What do you?
I'm not, but I think he's very handsome.
Spy.
I got that dreamy look in my eye every time he comes in the room.
Marlowe, you notice that she has taken her shoes off onto the table and is now just kind of wiggling her fucking little piggies while swinging her feet.
Great.
Yep. Making sure you see him when you look over.
Oh, you
Just
also
to get the look.
You also notice that only one foot has painted toenails.
Oh man.
Intermittently purple and black.
I'd put those feet.
I'm sorry. Somebody-
God,
we're good.
I hate her so much.
He picked the chair right next to me too.
Anyway.
I can't wait. I can't wait until we're just like violently making out and I accidentally call her Jenny.
Man.
Oh gosh.
Chrome, can I switch chairs with you?
There's a reason why I'm over here.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That I just got comboed. Oh fuck.
Ugh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, the insight check was that question seems to have caused Carter to become emotional. As if the emotional weight of the request seems to have been something that he's thought of already. Oh my god. That one got me. I just got comboed. It just got worse. And then chat's like, what a harlot. It's so fucking...
What?
You
Marlowe or me?
Who knows? Probably both of you. I don't know.
Marlowe the harlot. Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyway, Carter will then continue. I will be honest. I find myself at war with itself. I Mournhouse is my home, and its people, their way of life is threatened by Matheria's presence. Although I do not agree with the Regent King, I do think he is a usurper. I know that his son being instated would see all but our beliefs die. At first I had thought that the war was righteous, and that a Matherian outlook would be better. But now as I have thought, and I have reflected, I cannot help but wonder if such a thing is true. He will then draw his long sword and will place it on the table. This weapon has been in my family for as long as my family has existed. With it I have wielded my ancestors. This, I believe, just as much as I believed in Matheria. I know that the Brass Baron wants it for himself. I don't know, my lords. To back his play would mean my people stop suffering and may yet retain their way of life. If a peaceful solution could be made, should we not do it?
It is a difficult situation we've all been put into. If I did not have the additional context of knowledge that he might be an avatar of the Orange, I very well would have supported you doing this even if it was to his benefit. But, as stated, there needs to be something done to ensure that he does not see only a victory in this. He must learn from this. He must kind of stop and go into thought. I'm not exactly certain how to traverse this situation.
Maybe this isn't the perfect time to temper his ambition, but just a necessary hurdle it's placed a few. But I'd like to ask, what are your feelings about considering Mornhal is your home as well?
You keep breaking up on me.
Breaking
Luke.
up.
Chrome, what is your feelings on this? Considering that Mornhal is your home as well.
I have thought long and hard about my own home. If it was up to me, I would make this city and march myself between both Matherians and the Brass Baron. But I cannot have two enemies when we need all of the allies we can achieve. I look at Carter. In time, our home will be okay. It is not our city that makes who we are, but our ancestors, our weapons. We keep them alive, not the city.
A fair sentiment. But it is their home.
It is. And it hurts for me to say, to let them have the brass brain to help. To let the brass brain have it. As much as I hate it, we need his help. Without him constantly at war with Mornhell, his greater war front will always be occupied.
Then perhaps we should. Perhaps we should assist him then. It would free up his resources to assist us in what we're planning.
Then I would like to make a request that you, during this time with the Brass Baron, that you attempt to learn of him. Attempt to get what you can, and perhaps even forge some kind of alliance with the man. There's
Perhaps
too
see
much.
if our suspicions of his possession of ambition is true, given your personal experience with it.
Carter will nod.
There will be many more trials ahead of us. We must be ready to do what we know will be difficult. If there's anything else that needs to be spoken at the table, let it be said.
You know what, Carter? I'll say this. This is back whenever I was first traveling with Tellery. Whenever I'm faced with big problems that make me emotional, he tried to teach me to pray on it, think about it.
Only it were so easy, Knarh. My
It's
prayers
not.
were my prayers. Will they even be heard?
Well, that's what faith is.
Well, after an entire lifetime putting stock in faith, I'd rather put it in steel and action.
Here.
I apologize for my emotions.
All good.
I believe I believe that freeing the Brass Baron from his war means that he can give us the aid that we will need. Corvallis is more important than the city of Mornau. And Brother Chrome is... Wait, does he know your name's Chrome?
Yeah, I exclusively
Yeah,
Chrome.
Okay, yeah. And, well, would Carter, though? Yeah.
Well, Carter would have known him as Chrome first.
I think in this moment, anyway. In either case, he would.
Yeah.
Anyway. What Brother Chrome says is true. Our people are our heirlooms. Our people are our people. A city is walls. And a city can be rebuilt. A city can be retaken. There will come a time for such things after the world continues to exist. If my influence can end the war in Mornhal faster and can do so with less bloodshed, then my people will suffer less because of it. I think we should do it.
We will take that into consideration when we gather everyone for the next meeting. Anything else?
It looks like we're done.
So for the group.
Should be good for the time being, I suppose. Afterwards, Captain Carter and Evelyn, suppose we should reconvene, discuss the nuances of what lies ahead.
They will not.
I would also like to offer, if CISO agrees, the services of Laza to you two. He's a divination wizard. Perhaps if some things are weighing upon your mind, he might have some answers to give to you.
Are you just offering Laza as a utility?
Yes, I am.
For Laza, he has his own choices.
As I said, should
Is
he
he
choose
here?
to give it.
Looks across the table at
Laza
Laza.
is literally standing there. He doesn't say anything, but looks a little off-put by that, but still.
Yep.
Anyway. All right.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned. All right, cool. Barrow King and Carter meeting done. Good job, guys. Also, good role play, Crumb.
Yeah, that was sick.
That's a nice little speech you gave me.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All
Mexico
right.
stole Sewigg from us again.
Princess doesn't.
What are you saying over there, Luke?
Yeah, what you say?
I'll pretend to be a noble.
You should. We're among nobles. At least dress nice. That beige T-shirt with buttons is.
You're gonna have to take it off me.
We gotta work on your look.
All right. Let's good session. Let's move on to fan art. Holy shit.
And I knock over the candle, pouring candle wax on our thigh. I say, "Oop."
It's actually not hot. It just kind of rolls around.
Oops.
Effort burning
Oopsies.
candle. Oops.
All right. Once again, I wanted to show this off because man, it looks great.
Yeah, but
Well, yeah.
You guys remember that one
What's
piece of art that guy made that was like a movie poster of the moment when,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
when
No,
Marlowe
I
cut
have
off
it
his
saved
wings?
on my desktop because I
When-
want to print it out, and
When
I keep
Marlowe cut
forgetting.
off his wings, dude. That was so sick.
Yeah, it's so good.
And then we have this masterpiece.
Marlowe, so that's my new token.
That's your new token?
I mean, I guess it's better than the shirt, kind of.
Oh my god.
Is it?
Armies, generals, this is a library.
Man, this is
Absolutely amazing. Good session, guys.
hell yeah.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.